Hey everyone, it's Tim Feehan here, the singer of the James Bond Dirty Love song in License to Kill in the big barrelhead bar scene. Want to give a shout out to Really 007. Thanks guys, you're doing great work.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Really 007 podcast. I'm Tom Pickup, and we're back to delve into the James Bond songbook once more. But this time, we have a special guest with us, an interview with one of the artists themselves. So, as you can see here, or listen to on the podcast, we're chatting to Tim Feehan, who performed the legendary Dirty Love, yes, for our personal favourite Bond film, License to Kill. So, great to have you with us this evening, Tim.
Thanks for having me, Tom. It's it's an unexpected treat to be reminded of this classic song and this classic film.
Well, we do think they are both. Absolutely both apply, yeah. And I've got alongside me today another esteemed musician. I've got Warren Ringham, who founded and conducts and basically runs everything to do with Cue the Music Show, who, if you don't know by now, then we'll tell you again. They're a James Bond themed concerts troupe who go all over the country and beyond, playing every single Bond tune pretty much, and they do play Dirty Love, and we will get onto that
Really?
because that is important. So great to have you, Warren, with us tonight.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me, and it's a real pleasure to meet you, Tim, as well. Really looking forward to chatting to you about all things music, especially, I have to say, an absolute cult classic in the Bond fan world of Dirty Love.
Yeah, the barrelhead bar. That was
Yes.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so Tim, right. So first of all, you are Canadian, but are you now living in LA?
I'm Canadian, born and raised in Edmonton in Western Canada, and migrated down to the LA region about 30 years ago or so.
Right, okay. But you did have success, first of all, in your native Canada, didn't you?
Yeah, I did some records there, and we had a big hit single. I was still actually in college at the time, so that kind of prompted me to maybe make this a career.
Well, growing up though, was there any music in your family, or did it just become a love for listening to music?
Yeah, no, it was a very, very musical family. I have 6 brothers, no sisters, but 6 brothers. Everybody sang, played guitar. My mom sang in church, very operatic voice, and my dad was a piano playing, folky kind of guy, but nobody was, very, wasn't stellar, but everybody had that in their blood. So I grew up singing and listening a lot.
Which is your favorite? Do you prefer singing or playing particular instruments?
Well, when I started, I was a guitar guy because I just thought, well, here's the Beatles, here's the Stones, I got to play guitar, and I was easy to do. You got a little 6-string or a facsimile of a 6-string at the time, and then I played, and then I realized some of my neighbors were a lot better than I was, and I thought, I'm not going to make it because these guys' fingers work a lot better than mine. But then I realized that they couldn't sing as good as me, so I kind of, moved into that genre a little bit by choice, I guess.
Did you just learn by ear, or are you taught from, classically trained, or have you been taught reading music, or are you literally just one of those musicians who just picked everything up by ear and learnt it that way?
Yeah, pretty well totally by ear. I've always had a really keen ear, so I could listen to something and pick it out on guitar or even on piano. And the notes were really, if I heard somebody singing, I could nail it. After 1 or 2 listens, I could just sing exactly what they sang. Not as good as them, but I could at least sing the notes. I did a little guitar training in music school when I was young, but I never really learn or write music at all, so it's all by ear.
So when you like writing a song, how do you sort of write it down and everything, or do you just record each part, or how do you do it?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a piano or a keyboard, and there's, Pro Tools or Logic, whatever is available. And then I started getting the melody down by plunking out chords, either by piano or by guitar, humming all the time, like, so the melody comes, and then I might, record the chord progression. Then I actually, literally write down the lyrics. That part I do have to write down.
Yes.
And that's about it. That's about it.
That's a skill that's changed a lot over the last 30 or 40 years, though, because Pro Tools obviously wasn't around when you were in your, in the pomp of all of this. So how were you doing it back then? Just literally overdubbing ideas?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. It's almost as if I forgot we had to do it a different way back then. It usually was somebody, a group of guys, or me on my instrument, which is primarily guitar, or some of my co-writers, and we just sit around plunking ideas out on the guitars. And we're going right by memory at this point, because we might have had a cassette player playing sometimes, but sometimes not. And then go into a situation where we'd have to either demo it or do a little better recording of it, and then try and remember the ideas that we put down, and then we put the lyric on top of that, maybe on a separate track, or maybe sometimes at the same time when we're just around the fireplace. The cassette player would go and we'd sing what we got, and if anybody thought it was any good, we might take it into a studio and try and make it better.
It's amazing how that skill has evolved, though, hasn't it? I mean, there is pluses and minuses for either or. Now it's a lot easier to get things down, a lot quicker to get things down. But some of those skills that you had back in those days, when you literally had to just do it in one take, or sit down with a group of musicians and come up with an idea, and through repetition just get there. Whereas now you've got that instant way of being able to get things down. It's a very different skill, isn't it?
Yeah, no, in fact, when I first started recording, we were introducing the 24-track tape recorder. So I would look back at the guys who recorded in the 50s and even in the 60s, and there'd be one, one mic in a room where they okay, guys, let's go. Nope, the bass hit it wrong. No, let's do it again. And I couldn't believe that they actually could do it that way. I mean, they had to be so good. They had to be such tremendous. We got away with it because we weren't, in my neck of the woods anyways, we weren't particularly wizards at our instruments, but multi-tracking got us through it. We could do it again and again. And yeah, so when I started in the late 70s, we had a 24-track machine at our local studio, and I was able to, all right, let's do it again. Sorry, whoop, no, do it again. And then I think back when the Beatles did it, and on stereo or sometimes live, that had to have been incredible talent to be able to do that. I'm glad I was able to get into the multi-track in the way it is, because I just don't think I had the wherewithal, to do that off the floor. I mean, I don't think that was me.
It's like there is a recording floating around of the original James Bond theme with John Barry and his orchestra in the studio, where they were just obviously one take, but there is somewhere where there's the 8 or 9 takes that they did of it back to back, and you literally can't tell the difference between the takes apart from just slight nuances. And how they chose, I think they chose, it was something like take 7 or something like that, is the one that went into the film. And as you say, it's fascinating to hear how they did it literally. And went in the studio for 3 hours, just recorded 9 takes and picked the best one. It's very, very different. A real skill in itself, that.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I can't imagine. If I saw that, I'd be in awe. I would, because our process takes, even with the Dirty Love song, I mean, it took at least a week to put together all the pieces and all the performances, and to do something in one take off the floor, or in 9 takes, but just at the same time.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of work with Burt Bacharach down here, and
yes,
wow, yeah.
and he was telling me the story of when he went to London. He was in the Beatles studio, Abbey Road, I believe, with doing Alfie.
Oh,
with the singer from Liverpool,
Cilla Black.
Cilla Black, yeah.
Cilla Black, there you go. And I ended up seeing that on YouTube, where he did like 37 takes, and she sang every one of them.
Wow.
And it was just very minor differences in each take, but this was all done at the same time. It took them all day and all night, and they finally decided on one take. And I remember talking to him. I said, how did you didn't have any multi-tracking at all? You couldn't go back and redo something after the fact? How did you do it? And he looked at me and he just went, because we were really good.
Where is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, some of the people you work with are incredible, isn't it? And
oh yeah.
But I mean, your sound, obviously, particularly the Dirty Love era, is that real sort of power pop rock. So it is quite highly produced, isn't it? And it does take quite a lot to go from writing it in your head or humming the tune to putting it out there on the record?
Yeah, the tune, I must, with, being transparent, I didn't write the song. I was given there was a publisher, the Sill brothers, actually, who are very famous publishers here in LA, had a publishing company called Windswept Pacific.
Yes, yeah.
And they had a deal with MCA Records on the soundtrack, and I was signed to MCA, just brand new, signed. And they approached me and said, well, would you consider, and everything's tied together. It's all politically, these writers are assigned to MCA Publishing or Windswept, and you're a new artist. Would you consider? And I listened to it and I went, this is a pretty funky song. I like the whole vibe here. I said, yeah, I'd love to be involved. And I didn't know why at the point.
Right.
Because they didn't tell me, because, they I don't think they were sure yet. And then they said, this is going to be, or could very well be on the James Bond soundtrack. And I just flipped. I went, you got to be kidding me. This kid from Canada who just moved down here on a James Bond. It was like, that was just, it floored me. The writers, Jeff Piscetto and Steve Dubin, I knew of, they did great work. And I expected a phone call from somebody saying, here's how we want you to do it. But they just said, Tim, we like what you've been doing. Do it your own way. You got full production rights. We're not even going to just call us when it's done. Hire whoever you, and I that was another thing that you do not give young producers or singers or writers. That rarely happens, but they gave me carte blanche, and they said, here's your budget. The Broccoli family, from England said, here's the budget we have set aside. Time is of the essence. We're in post, so get it done. And then the ride started. It was a great ride.
It's such a different soundtrack. It's a one-off because up until then it's composer-led, isn't it? Mainly
Yeah.
John Barry to start with. And the previous film, The Living Daylights, is arguably the most composer-led ever, because you've got about 6 different motifs. I mean, Warren will know better than me. Yes, there were starting to be more artists involved because there was Aha and the Pretenders, but everything was written by John Barry chiefly. To go from that to having the title track written by completely different people, and then I think Diane Warren wrote the song at the end, If You Ask Me To.
Right. Yeah.
And then you come in, and then there's other songs on the album. So it's a very different and more of American feel to the soundtrack.
Yeah, and when you look at the scene, and I know you guys are going to talk about this, but the jukebox just wouldn't be playing a symphonic John Barry song. They'd be playing like a rock and roll or a rock style, very contemporary late 80s, Def Leppard style blast, which is what I fashioned. So yeah, I think it had to fit the scene, and it did so well. I knew it had to be high energy, and I love that kind of stuff. Anyways, I was right in that world at that point, so it really suited me to get in there and work on this. So yeah, of course I never saw the scene. All I was just told was it's a fight scene. That's all I was told.
Right.
And I said, okay, well, we'll make it aggressive. And no, they weren't letting anybody see anything. So,
wow.
Just going slightly off on a tangent, but the sound then that you've got, with Dirty Love and listening to obviously to your other stuff as well around then, that 80s sound, it's just so upbeat and uplifting and energy driven, isn't it? I mean, I have to say there isn't over here, there isn't a James Bond FM. So if I'm on a journey anywhere, it'll always be at the 80s, heart 80s we have over here, Tim. I don't know if you have anything similar over there, but that's always my go-to radio station. And, the thing that always strikes me with the 80s music is just how upbeat it is. And I was only age 2 to 11, 12 in the 80s. So although I lived it, I don't really recall really experiencing the 80s other than as through the eyes of a very young child. But I don't know what you feel about it looking back on the 80s now, but it really was an incredible period for music, and you really were writing that classic upbeat 80s really kind of uplifting sound to me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. The invention of the drum machine, and you'll remember the the big reverbs on the
Yeah.
snare, and
Yeah.
sometimes gated reverbs, sometimes just big wide reverbs. And so drums would, at least in my productions, drums were really important, and they
Yeah.
they drove the whole track, and they were a little louder than most tracks at that time. And a lot of it was 4/4 on the floor, and
Yeah.
it wasn't quite rhythmic the way it turned out to be in later, but it was fun because it was really guitar driven, drum driven stuff. And it allowed me just to kind of get that hoarseness in my voice and go as high as I could and just wah! And scream it out there with this powerful background group, if you will, supporting me. So yeah, it was high energy, balls to the wall, as we say, and it was not non-stop for 3 minutes. So
Where
I
did
wouldn't, if I had to do it live, I might be dead by now.
No, we'd love to hear that, wouldn't we? Yeah.
So where did you pull all the guys together from then? Because you obviously had this budget. Was it literally just a case of pulling in session musicians locally, or did you have tried and tested guys that you were using around then for that song?
Well, the first thing I wanted to do when I got the call, it was, one of my favorite, because David Foster, being a fellow Canadian, kind of nurtured me when I first got down here, and I sang with him and went on tour with him and stuff. And his original singer was a guy named Tommy Funderburg, and he was a local guy that did all of David Foster's records, airplay records, and I was in love with that band, and I just thought, who's this singer? And he was on a lot of stuff, and I said, that's the first call I'm going to make. I got to call Tommy. He's going to have to come in, and I want him to be doing that dirty laugh. He's going to be doing that answer to me, because he's got that really high, hoarse voice. And so he was the first guy that came up, and my co-producer, and that was David White. David White was a friend of mine at the time, and I brought him on. He had just finished the Bangles version of Hazy Shade of Winter, which became a single for the Bangles. That was the big hit for Hazy Shade of Winter, the Simon and Garfunkel. And so when the Bangles recut it, David produced it, became a big hit. And he was a friend of mine at the time, and I said, well, why don't you, I really wasn't confident. I was so new in town here that I just didn't feel that the record company and everybody was just going to leave me alone to do this. So I thought, let me hedge my bets and get a guy in here with me so everybody will feel better about this, because there was a lot at stake. There was a lot of money involved, and it had to be done right. So I got David. He said, yeah, I'm down. We're going to do it. So he co-produced. On guitar, was it Steve Lukather at the time? It might have been Steve or Bruce Geitch. I'm going to have to, or both. For both of them. Obviously, session guys.
Guitars on there, isn't there? Sounds like there's 2 guitars on there at least.
Yeah. And then the drum machine, of course, was my MPC 60. That was my little baby, and I was pretty good at that one. The and it did all the percussion stuff too. Vocals, just me and Tommy. We did all the vocals. We rushed to get it done. We did it in about a week, and we did it at a studio in Greater Los Angeles, in the Hollywood area. And it was fun. It was like I walked in and there was baskets of fruit waiting for me. And, hello, Mr. Feehan. Is there anything we can get you? Would you like a cup of coffee? And I went, oh man, I'm here. Too bad it only lasted a week, but it, like I say, it was fun.
When you're composing a song like that, is it a fairly straight path, or do you find yourself going down alleys where you think, this isn't working, we're going to have to cut that bridge, or this verse isn't quite working, let's go back to the drawing board? Or is it something that just kind of falls into place really easily?
Well, we did a lot of editing, actually, because there were parts in the song where I thought knowing that this was for a film, for a fight scene, I just thought, we got to get to the chorus pretty quickly here, because I just feel there's way more energy in the chorus, and typically I don't think this is going to be more than a minute, or in the scene it usually isn't. At least I didn't think it was going to be, and so I think I cut out a lot of the second verse to get to the chorus first, and then kind of merged into the second verse. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted the driving. There's a little intro there that introduces it, and then the verse, and then the chorus comes fairly quickly after that, because like I say, I wanted that energy to kind of pound home quick. When I first got the demo was very, I think it was like an acoustic guitar do an eighth notes, and some guy singing. It was very, very, very bare,
Yeah.
which was great for me because I could say, well, I think I know which way to take this. And there was no minor chords in there at all. It was all
No.
upbeat major. It was not necessarily major thirds, but just there wasn't any minor thirds. So it kept it. And in the film, it's kind of funny because it really, it's not dark, the way maybe an Aerosmith song would be or anything like that. It's actually pretty peppy.
Yeah.
And it pumps, and it really works. Having not seen the film, before we did the song, I was pretty tickled to see how it worked in the piece.
Yeah.
Dear me. I mean, going into that, of course, you've recorded it and everything. And then was there a bit of a wait before you actually saw the film? And did you just see the film like everybody else at the cinema?
Yep.
Yeah.
There was quite a bit of wait, and the wait was really long for me. It was probably 6 months. But you're in post on a James Bond film, and I just thought, get it out. I want to see it. I want to see it. But we went to the theater like everybody else, me and my friends, and just bought our tickets, sat there with popcorn, and when it came on, and I should tell you, if any other writers or singers have told you this before, but and now I know this all too well, but any source music song is always going to be held captive by the dialogue. So dialogue is going to be paramount in any background song. So at first when I heard it, I went, turn up the music.
Yeah.
Turn up the music. I can't hear the music. Turn it up. That's me. Turn it up. And as I matured in this industry, I realized, it's not the song. The song is propelling the action and the the whole story and the narrative and the dialogue. So, but it's there. You take that out, and it's empty.
It's interesting, actually, Tim, you say that, because I don't know if you're familiar with the composer that came later in the series, David Arnold, but he did a great piece of music for Tomorrow Never Dies called Backseat Driver, which is the music company's the BMW Chase. It's a brilliant piece of music that co-composed with the propeller heads. And there was an expanded album release where they not only released the version that you hear on the the official release soundtrack, which is just for a listening kind of pleasure mix, but they did the film mix, and it literally sounds like an engineer is sitting there with a fader and ducking it whenever there's a bit of dialogue, and then pushing it back up again. And as you're listening to that film mix, you can literally hear the volume of the track sort of spiking all the way through as it's doing that. So sort of just to your point there, it's really interesting to hear how they do that. And as a musician, I've always wondered what it must feel like, because as you say, you've gone to all that trouble and spent a week in there. You want people to hear it, you're proud of it. But I suppose, it kind of, at some point Tom was going to mention this, but I don't know how much you're aware of what a sort of cult favourite track that has become.
I was not aware of that at all. I didn't have any idea. None.
Oh,
I'm really surprised by that, because, and to your point, the song was, they did turn it up in the end.
Yeah.
And then I remember watching in the theater. I was like, turn it up. I can't hear. And the fight actually goes on for quite a while.
This is an unexpected pleasure.
Where's Leiter?
Hospital. Intensive care, where you'll be if you don't get out of here fast. Sanchez has Leiter's files. Your name's all over them.
Hell, I knew something was wrong. Those two have been at the bar for hours, probably waiting to see who showed up to meet me. Would you like anything to drink? Bed with a lime.
Yeah, same.
Sure thing, hon.
And then when there's no talking, then they crank the song.
Yeah.
Until they shut the jukebox,
Thanks.
So then I actually heard it. I heard my voice very clearly, and then went, oh, all right, all right.
Yeah.
And that was a nice thing. But I guess, just like you were saying, that they were probably riding the faders. You know, when they're talking, you keep the faders here. And now there's no talking. The song goes up. And you can actually hear it if you're listening. I don't think anybody else would notice. Obviously, me being the guy, I did notice. But it really adds to the whole impact of the whole scene.
Touche.
And then the way they ended it, to hear my voice go,
Yes. Yes.
How many takes did it take for you to do that, Tim?
Get it started.
And I wasn't sure that was actually me, but it actually is. They actually took the tape and.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh my word. Well, there are so many reasons why we love that scene and the song. And I think it is, first of all, Bond in this film is a fish out of water. It's a bit unusual.
Yeah.
He's rogue. He's not, doing his sort of check into a nice hotel. He's out of his depth in many ways in this scene. And it's Pam who he's with, who's leading the discussions. Bond is just like, what is this kind of dive? I've never been to a place like this before.
Shit. It's Dario. He's bad news. He used to be with the Contras before they kicked him out. Just the kind of guy Sanchez would send. You carrying? If they start shooting, you just hit the deck and stay there.
The song comes on, and I think it just generates that mood of that sort of Florida bar.
Yeah, kind of sleazy.
Yeah, it's perfect. And because it's so catchy, and because the scene is so memorable in terms of, you've got like the swordfish being thrown, you've got the dancer, people swinging on the lamps and the fight, pool cues going and all that. It is a very memorable scene for Bond fans, and there's nothing quite like it before or since. So, Dirty Love, the phrase, is extremely memorable.
Yeah.
And again, not something that Bond would want to be associated with, I don't think.
No,
Where did the name come from? Do you know?
No, I don't actually. I think I'm guessing the suggestion may have been given that they were looking for a really, kind of dirty, sleazy, dark, but not, minor S or anything like that. I'm only guessing because I'm not even sure the sequence of how it all came about. But if I know Windswept Pacific, they had a pretty good thing going on with MCA Records and the people there. And I bet you there was some discussions about, hey, we might be able to pitch this if, and I happen to be part of that discussion after. So that's what I think. But it works so good. Nowadays, people rarely write for sync scenes anymore. They either have a library where a song is going to work, or it doesn't, because the chances of it setting up are so rare. That nobody goes to the trouble of recording a whole song to pitch for a particular placement.
And what's interesting about it as well, you kind of alluding to what you're saying earlier on, but obviously the song fits what everyone knows as the fight scene, but it's not a song that was written for a fight scene. It was written before the fight scene in different ways. The fight breaks out whilst the song's on. But I think in some ways that's what makes it so perfect, because it is such a counterpoint to the fight, because it's not fight music, is it? It's a fun track for the for the scene of the bar, for that moment that they're in, and then the fight breaks out in spite of it. So in some ways it's probably a good thing that you didn't necessarily know the scene, because you wrote it or you recorded it how you wanted to hear it, and it did so well in that respect.
It's actually a sleazy love song, really. It's kind of a bass grinding the kind of thing you're going to see at a strip club. So
we wouldn't know, Tim.
They don't have those in London, huh?
No. Well, they may do. We don't know.
We don't know. But yeah, one thing we do have to tell you, Tim. Well, it's great that Warren's joining us tonight, but Warren, as I say, his Keen Music, they perform nearly every
Covered.
Bond song in each
Covered.
concert, and of course, you've got so many, haven't you? What, there's 27 films. Some of them have got the odd song as well, and they do some of the instrumental cues. Yet, Dirty Love is one of the most popular songs that they perform.
Yeah.
You're going nowhere. You're stumbling and fall. You're moving too fast, and you can't make it all. No. Oh yeah. She's no good for you. She's no good for you. Here comes a woman that sneaks up behind you. It makes you weep, fall apart, but let it go, for it breaks your heart. It's dirty love, dirty, dirty love. It's dirty love, oh, dirty, dirty love.
Every
that right?
time we do
Do
it,
you believe
it
that
takes
they
the
are
roof-
performing that every year all around the country?
takes the roof off every time, Tim, and it's
Really?
yeah, and there's whenever we sort of say we're gonna, because we have a spot in the concert for a special item, we always make room for something to do something a bit different. So I'd say we do about 40 to 50 theatre shows a year, and I would say we do it probably on about 5 or 6. It's the one we do the most because it's always the most popular, because there's quite a few that we can do. And every time I sort of introduce it, there's always an excited ripple and an ooze from half the audience that know it, and the other half that don't know it. By the end of it, they are just as enthusiastic. You know, it always brings the house down. They love it, absolutely love it.
Well, that's crazy, because even when I saw it the first time all those years ago, I thought it's there, but do people know that it's there? I mean, I know it's there because I could hum along to every nuance and every 16th of a beat of the song. I know it, but is anybody picking up on this song? And I just decided, it's there's too much going on for people to ever concentrate on the song, and they'll never hear it. Really, they'll never get it. So if you're telling me that people out there actually can recognize that piece from the film, that is amazing to me.
Well, I'll tell you the reason why. I mean, Tom, you tell me what you think if you think I'm right. But there's a couple of reasons why. I think, first of all, you've got all the really hardcore Bond fans that watch the films again and again and again, and so they pick up those. I mean, we're talking about guys that know the number plates on cars, all sorts. So
Right.
they pick up on that. But I think the other thing that's really helped with the soundtracks is help them have a second life is the re-releases that we've had over previous years. Particularly, there's a company called La La Land Records. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they specialize in re-releasing special editions of the soundtracks and expanded editions, like I was saying earlier about David Arnold's one, and where they get a lot more of the songs that were unused, or or alternative mixes, or cues that have never been released on the original LPs and what have you. But then, of course, the other side of it, and for all of its bad side, and we could talk long and into the night about Spotify, but it does give people a lot of access to songs like that.
Yeah,
right.
When they're looking to scratch their Bond itch, and they're out in the car, or they're just going about their daily life, and they put on the soundtracks, these songs come on, and so suddenly when you get the opportunity to listen to a song like Dirty Love in isolation, and you realize what a fabulous, fun and uplifting and just great song that it is, that it takes it out the context with all the other distractions going on in the film. You listen to it in isolation, it gives it a second life. And I think that's why, particularly in the last sort of 5 or 10 years, what we've seen anyway is that there's a real love of it, actually, amongst the Bond fan world, certainly.
Yeah, I just before this interview, and it's been a long time, but I went to YouTube and I queued up the scene. They didn't show the scene, but they showed still photographs of the scene, but they played the song in its entirety. And I was going, okay, All right. Oh yeah. So now it's not in the background. It's full front and center.
Yeah.
Like the way we recorded it all those years ago. And I'm going, this is really cool. This really has energy, man. And
Yeah.
it was fun. Yeah. If people start digging and they hear that, they're going to understand this, know the song and know why it works.
I think because it is on the actual soundtrack as well, and
Right.
it's been on the soundtrack all those years. Because obviously, in some Bond films, many films, like you say, there'll be a song that's on it, but either the rights don't mean they can't have it on the soundtrack, or it just doesn't make it because it was just on in the background. But for a song to be written specifically for the film, and it was always intended to go on there. I mean, there's some Bond soundtracks which don't even have the title tracks on these days.
Yeah.
So there's all that
Yeah.
merit. So you've got that advantage, so everyone's already hearing it. But I also think, Warren will know the music of Bond has its own sort of style, doesn't it? You say that sounds Bond, whereas yours is meant to be different from that style.
Oh, that's way
Yeah.
out there.
So I think it stands out on its own like that, and it's almost like a gentle relief from the traditional Bond sound. So even if you're not a Bond, like Warren says, half the fans at the concerts, you're a real Bond geek if you can identify this song and where it is, then you've made a friend basically. If you start talking about Dirty Love, but the people who don't know it, like Warren says, oh right, this is a bit different. This is I like this one, and then they'll look it up afterwards, and they'll always remember those moments. I think.
I've always loved that Robbie Williams song of
Yeah,
I believe it's Robbie Williams on the scene. That music is just so brilliant. I'm so glad he did that. Yeah.
Millennium, wasn't it?
Yeah, Millennium.
You only lived twice, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Also, Tim, as well. Warren, please tell us where you've also performed this song.
Well, we did it. There's a place called Piz Gloria in Switzerland, which is where a good portion of On Her Majesty's Secret Service was shot. You know the film with George Lazenby.
Sure.
So, and it's 10,000 feet up in the Swiss Alps, and we did a concert there in 2019 for the 50th anniversary. And again, because I knew the people that were going to be there, and I just wanted to kind of give people something to give them a real high, if they weren't high up enough in the world enough as it was already. We did it up there, and it really did take the roof off. So yeah, it was good. It's been played at 10,000 feet up in the Swiss Alps, Tim. So there you go.
So is this the song with vocals too? And there's
Yeah. Did it as a duet, didn't they?
It's really interesting to hear you say, because I just assumed that you'd overdubbed the chorus and the answering yourself. So it makes me feel better, because when we do it, our male singer does your part and our female singer does the answer.
Oh.
It makes you weak, you fall apart, and let it go before it breaks your heart. Dirty love, dirty love, dirty, dirty love. Dirty love, dirty love, dirty, dirty love.
When it goes up a tone after the guitar solo, Matt's voice isn't so high, so Kerry takes over the lead vocal in the last chorus to cover the range of it.
I know you want it, but don't be blind. I'm gonna tell you for the very last time. Dirty love, dirty love, oh dirty, dirty love. Oh dirty love, oh dirty, dirty love.
But again, it's nice as well, because a lot of the Bond songs, as you'll know, they're all individual songs, really.
Yes.
In fact, not even that many backing vocals in most of the Bond songs. I think there's only about 7 songs that have any backing vocals at all. So it's really nice for them to be able to do an actual duet. It works really well for that, to have them both on stage.
I'd love to hear that. Is there any way
I'll
I
send
can?
it, but I'll definitely get you a copy, Tim. It'd be mine.
Please, that's a thrill. I mean, I wouldn't believe in a million years that song would be reproduced as part of the series. I mean, this is really a real big surprise to me, because it's been almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a lot has happened in between. And I'm a big James Bond fan, and I see all the films, but I just thought this was just a lucky break at the lucky time. I didn't realize it had any legs.
Yeah.
And in fact, I should tell you this because it was the Toronto Star or somebody in some Canadian newspaper were giving KD Lang accolades for being the only Canadian ever
Oh.
to be in a James Bond soundtrack,
Oh,
and I went, wait a minute,
yeah.
oh no, no, there's somebody before you, but I don't
Well,
think I did anything about it.
her song is another one that a lot of non-Bond fans won't know because it was replaced as the title song. But
Yeah.
at Warren's concerts, that one is another one that brings the house down. So the
Well, never
Canadians
mind.
have got it
Never
good,
mind.
haven't they, I think?
Yeah, never
Yeah.
mind my concert. I think most Bond fans would say that that's one of the best Bond songs ever. Surrender.
Yeah,
There you go.
there we go.
Yeah.
You can hear loads of our other episodes on iTunes, Spotify, and our YouTube channel, where we have interviews, special episodes, and reviews of all the Bond films. Simply search Really 007 Pod, and you should find loads of weird and wonderful content.
The film has grown in popularity, particularly maybe since Daniel Craig was Bond. People have been into that grittier style of James Bond, and a lot of people have revisited it. And it's actually now one of the more, it's usually in people's top 10 Bond films now, definitely. And
Wow,
I say it's our favourite. So I think that sort of fits with it. And the fact that your song is like a juxtaposition to the pretty dark storyline that's going on, it's a bit of light relief, isn't it, in the film?
It really is. And I many years ago, I was at a fundraiser over here in Westlake Village, not far from where I live here in the LA area, and Robert Davi was there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And he was part of this fundraiser because either his children were going to the school or something. And I looked at him and I went, oh my God, I gotta go. So I walked up and I said, hi, Robert, my name's Tim Feehan, and he's very nice. He's going, oh, well, it's nice to meet you. And I said, oh, and by the way, and I told him, and he went, you're the guy? I love that scene.
Oh, cool.
And he stopped everything and he called his wife over and he goes, honey, you know that scene in the bar and that song, this is the guy.
Oh,
I
And
love
I was
that.
brilliant.
It made me feel so good, And it was another of those moments where I go, hey, maybe people do react to that song.
He's a cool dude as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen a few interviews and stuff. He's done some interviews. I know you
We've
did.
chatted to him, yeah.
Have you done one of you?
Yeah, we have. He's brilliant. He's absolutely.
He's a character, isn't he? And that must have made your day actually, because I think
did.
Yeah,
because I'd never met him before, and I just thought when I watched that film, he was so scary. I thought,
Yeah, he's brilliant.
This guy's got to be a mean son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And he was so nice and kind and just so enthusiastic, and I went, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah, he's a proper method actor. He's fine in real life,
That's nice. Yeah. Great.
It's unlike most Bond soundtracks where presumably then you won't have had any contact with Michael Kamen or any of the other people on the soundtrack.
No, I didn't. I was just given word by, I believe it was Barbara Broccoli.
Yeah.
Who somehow she was in charge of this song, or she was in charge of the money to get it sent and produced, or the budget, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I spoke to her personally. I'm not sure. Maybe her assistant. But they made it very, very clear to me that they needed in 7 days. And it was almost panic in their voice, as if they've just decided to do this. We need it now. I got the sense that I can't mess this one up. This has got to be good. This has got to be good. So do it right.
Well, it worked, didn't it? Because am I right? You've done loads of songs now for TV shows in America and films and things like that. All very popular shows that people would know instantly. So it's a niche, isn't it? It's quite a skill to have to write something specifically for things.
Absolutely, and that's when you get into licensing music for TV, mostly source music, which is the stuff that Dirty Love was. It's kind of in the background and it's supporting the scene. There's other songs that carry the scene where there's just no dialogue at all, and it's the song. Yeah. But those are usually done by bigger stars, and more well-known songs with a very expensive budget. And I've had a few of those, but they're rare. So mostly they're what we call source music. So they're placed in a scene to support it, but they're not necessarily taking over the scene. I should say it was a niche. I started it because a friend of mine was a film editor on a WB show, and this was in the early 2000s. He said, "Okay, we got this scene that takes place in 1983. Do you have anything that might work in the 80s?" And I went, "Oh yeah, let me check my vault."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that started to work. And I went, "You mean to say that I could get paid for some of my old stuff putting in?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." And so then I started to pick up on it, and I went, "Oh, this is pretty cool, licensing." Now, of course, it's no secret anymore. In fact, it's pretty well the last way to make money in the music business. I mean, that's it. So it's a very, very crowded field. And anybody who has a laptop computer can put together a song and pitch it. And with AI now, it's getting pretty scary. So
Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
When looking back, sort of, I know it's probably different now, but looking back to sort of your peak period of doing that stuff, were you more composing for bespoke situations, or more just providing a library and someone say, "I'm looking for something in this kind of field, what have you got?" Because obviously with License to Kill, you've written something specifically to a point, if you like, to that. Was that more common when you first started out, or is it been a bit more the other way?
The only other time that I wrote for a specific scene, I got a call from a publisher, said Tequila Sunrise featuring, Kurt Russell and Michelle Pfeiffer was just about to wrap, and they said they need a song, they need a big song. And I said, okay, well, yeah. So I went to my co-writer up in Vancouver, and we put together this song. I thought it was really good and never heard another word. and we really worked hard on this track. It was a week's worth of work, and we pulled out all the stops and spent a little money and never heard a word about it. And I thought, you know what? I don't have a really good feeling about writing specifically for a job. I think we should just try and write some really great songs with great singers or artists, and just do that, and maybe try and get them record deals, or my stuff. I had record deals at the time, so that's how I amassed my catalog. Was I didn't write specifically for any sync opportunities. I just wrote with artists or for artists that became, after the fact, oh, that might work.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with me. That's how I built the library. It wasn't on purpose. It was always trying to get some artist a record deal. And what became very lucrative for me was the 90s hip hop stuff that I did.
Yeah, I need to ask you about this, because Boys to Men you've worked with, haven't you? And
sure, yeah.
These are some of my favorite artists. I love R&B. And Bone Thugs and Harmony. This is incredible.
We had a studio in LA here called well, I should tell you, it was called Monterey when it was built, which was Richard and Karen Carpenter's place.
Yeah.
And they did all their stuff there with a producer by the name of Jack Doherty. And then it went out of business, and we took it over. And I don't know how it happened, but it kind of turned into this R&B place. And they all came there. I'm talking, Aaron Neville, Boys to Men, Brian McKnight, and then all the rappers. And I mean all the rappers, Ice Cube, Ice-T, Snoop. And so I started really getting into doing tracks. And I had a lot of really fine rappers, and then these are legit, inner city guys. And so I put together all of these. We were always trying to pitch them either to other artists or for the record companies, see if we could get them deals. And usually it didn't work. So they would go in the vault. I thought after we got into the licensing business, I thought, well, I got all these songs that are in the vault doing nothing. And they're pretty authentic. These are the real deal. This is, so I would start to pitch those for some of the requests I was getting, and they started to set up. So I thought, okay, this could be good. And it's still good, actually.
So how does that work with those artists? What sort of day-to-day goings on were you having with them?
Well, I mean, it's one of the reasons I got lucky in this is I was very studious about getting all the paperwork done. So when a rapper would come in and I'd have a track and I'd be trying to pitch the track to him for whatever, I'd make sure that he didn't have a publishing deal and that he didn't have a record deal, and that this was either a work for hire deal or co-writer deal. And so we got the paperwork done. And so by the time it went in the vault, it was clean. It was cleared. It was a one-stop, one-call placement. Whereas a lot of the other stuff that guys were doing had 10 or 15 guys in the room shooting out a word or a chord or something. And then you just can't clear stuff like that. There's just too many people involved. And music supervisors are very wary of stuff that isn't 100% clearables, because they can it'll come back and haunt them big time. So my stuff was kitchen clean, and I was able to turn that into some really quick one-stop placements. And typically the bigger the artist, the less chance it's going to be a one-stop or a one-off. So I would be lucky with a lot of the guys that were coming up, maybe didn't make it, but were really, really good. We had this one guy out of Phoenix. He was an Eminem before Eminem.
Yeah.
So he was a white guy, but he was just wonderful, amazing talent. So I did a ton of work with him, and he was as good as anybody ever was, but they weren't interested in that yet. Eminem hadn't come out. They were going, no. We're not ready for that. And so I had all this stuff, and it just became a little bit of a gold mine for me now.
Can I ask you, Tim, just picking up, you saying something about the clearances stuff. I mean, looking at the music business from the other end of it, from yourself, it seems to me that all of that stuff is so incredibly complicated and just almost unmanageable. And I mean, I know you're talking with the clearances maybe a bit different to maybe things like all the different licenses you have to look out for PRS, which I get involved in various times. But it seems to me that the music business, when it started out as, just a gramophone and had a certain set up for that, and it's just having all these modules added on as different types of mediums have been added over the years, be it CD, DVD, broadcast, internet, it just seems like it is just so incredibly complicated. And for someone that's obviously spent a whole career dealing with that stuff day in, day out, I wondered how you find it.
Well, pretty confusing, actually.
Yeah.
I tried not to get too deep into the mechanical world. It was for the first part of my career, I kind of divorced myself from the business end of it and the whole. I said, I just want to write something that I think's memorable, that makes me feel good, that hopefully will connect with others. And that was my whole world. And I didn't do very well at first. And then I started to realize, I got to get involved with, how to make money in this business. I mean, I know it's an ugly thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it really is for creative people. They don't like to do that.
No.
They don't like to get signatures and make agreements and contracts, because it's counter to their creativity, and so. But I started to research, and I thought, okay, you know what? There's a bunch of names over here I need to call. There's a lot of ways, that I can create mechanisms that I can make money on the music, which is, CDs, going out to, different parts of the world. And then, of course, the waveforms came, and MP3s and all of that stuff. The main thing for me, though, was I had to be sure, again, getting back to this clearance stuff, I had to be sure that I was never going to get a phone call at 3 a.m. from some writer that I've forgotten saying, hey, I just heard my song on a Hallmark Christmas movie. I want 150 grand tomorrow. My lawyer's going to get like, what?
Yeah.
So I was very careful not to ever,
be in that
not do these things. But it kind of took a little bit of the fun out of just creating and having fun and making beautiful music or whatever. But it's a necessary part of the business. And I'm sure all kids are into that now, because, I mean, you can't really put a song on YouTube. It's going to be taken down in 2 seconds if it's not, if it's not monetized or they don't agree to it. So, yeah.
I suppose the other side as well is as a musician, creative, whichever part of it you are, if you're not aware of all of that stuff and you don't know how to do that, you can get taken advantage of very easily. There are a lot of people out there who do understand it that will look to exploit somebody like you, an upcoming, Canadian that's arrived in LA looking for a career, if you're not on your toes, people will take advantage of you, won't they? And try and make what they can out of you and spit you out the other end of that machine.
Right. I mean, and nowadays, I mean, there was always that when I was there, but I don't really feel I had necessarily the potential that I was going to be, you know, given that really golden ticket. You know, I was struggling and getting small little deals here and there and stuff, and I was happy. But now I think the scammers out there, they're finding ways because, you know, even my son, for instance, who's an EDM guy, electronic, and he's doing all these tracks and he's sending them out all over the place. And he always gets these people saying, "Hey, you know what? I can get you 50,000 plays, or I can get you so many likes, or I can put you on these podcasts,
Yeah.
or I can get you on this and that. $100 up front, and we'll guarantee you plays here and there." And unfortunately, that's where the money is now,
Mm,
because there's so much music out there. There's so much product, and everybody's creating now.
yeah.
So they're coming out of the woodwork and they're saying, "Hey, you know, there's 2 billion songs out there in the universe. Let's see if we can get some money out of these creators here, because let's just give them a song, a song and dance that they're gonna want to live with. So, hey, subscription, $24 a month, and we'll send your songs out to all these podcasts, and you never make your money back. You don't even it's a complete scam."
Yeah.
Hopefully, won't be doing that anytime soon. But thanks for the advice. It's but your career though is so long, isn't it? I mean, most people in the music business, it's over in the blink of an eye. So to go from the '70s to still in the industry today is quite incredible, really. And you've
It's
adapted,
rare.
haven't
It's
you?
rare. It's rare, and I think that's why I adapted from becoming a little bit of a, you know, campfire writer singer into the studio, and then a little bit of a producer, and then an artist, and then moved to LA and got a record deal and became even a session singer, and then a touring artist, and then that morphed into a studio owner for 20 years,
Yeah,
where I got to experience, and then engineer. Of course, I became an engineer and all of those things where, you know, I could learn to create everything myself. And then now I'm still in the business, but far removed from anything where I started. But theoretically, still a music business, and I'm still creating music. Most of everybody I started with is long gone.
Have you retained the passion that you started out with? Because that's the challenge when you have such a long career, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's this something in our blood, and it's either a
Yeah.
curse or a blessing. I'm not sure what, both probably, but we used to have a joke when I was writing with these guys down here, and they'd say, whenever the phone rang, they'd say, "Well, stop, it's the big industry call." And we laughed because you never know.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you would get that big industry call, like,
Yeah.
Phil Collins is interested in recording one of your songs, or, you know, something that's just so extraordinarily great that you can never stop thinking about it, that it might happen. And that's probably the curse, but the blessing is it keeps you going.
Yeah.
And that's something very few people have. I'm one of them, but yes, it even now I figured the phone might ring and it could be that big industry
yeah.
call. It could be.
It
You know,
was, and it wasn't. It was us.
yeah, just to
Sorry.
tell you a very brief story. So there was a movie, a pretty big movie, that was just in post. It's out now on Netflix, but they had a big scene. It's a Christmas movie. There was a big scene where the boyfriend in the film is putting out a fire, and he strips off all his clothes and he's trying to put out the Christmas tree that goes on fire. And so he's doing like a strip thing, you know, and it's very much like the excitement of the Barrel Hair Bartsy. They had a Def Leppard song placed in that, and
Yeah.
it was working great. You can only imagine, right? And the fire, and this guy's and Def Leppard, throw stars, whatever.
Yeah.
And then at the last minute they said, "We can't clear the song. And we need something fast." And I had something that my song plugger just all the forces came together at that point, and they said, "This will work." So they quickly replaced that, and they put it in the film, and it worked perfectly because it's a Def Leppard-esque sound.
Oh,
And it's me singing, and it's a song that I wrote many, many years ago. And here you go. It's just one of those things like, well, that's kind of the big industry call. It just
yeah.
came like, and it can happen. So it's great.
Oh wow, look, there's a fire. Everybody calm down. Find the nearest exit and don't come back inside. Stay low. Everybody stand back! Get back! Sorry, sir.
What are you doing, Chet?
Which film was that? Because I do watch quite a lot of Christmas films.
It's called A Merry Little Xmas. It's EX-MAS.
Oh yeah, like an ex-girlfriend or ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, ex-girlfriend. Okay. It's Alicia Silverstone.
Oh right.
Yeah, and she acts and produces it, and so it's a fairly big film. It's on Netflix now. It's on Netflix now, and the scene is pretty undeniable. It's like it's the biggest scene in the movie where he's putting this big Christmas tree fire out, and yeah, it's pretty memorable. So,
well, Tim, in years to come, you'll have fans of that film coming up to you. You're the guy who did the song around the fire.
That's right.
Just when you were talking, it's something that I've actually would love to ask you. You know, when you write a song like Dirty Love and you hand it over, and you told there was a fee involved and a budget. Once you hand that song over, what's your involvement after that? I mean, do you retain anything in terms of rights or the ownership of anything, or do you literally get handed over to the Bond producers and they retain? How does all of that work? And what do you get anything again after that, or is it just you got paid that one fee and that's it and done and it's in your past?
Yeah, typically for big projects like that, everything would be work for hire. Yeah. So they would hire somebody to write and produce, and there'd be nothing after. It's pretty well a one-off work for hire pay, and it's a very handsome payment, I must say. Yeah. And then that's it. Now, if it's not a big Bond broccoli company, and it's just a music supervisor who needs a song for a film, then you retain all the rights.
Right.
You retain 100% of the writing, 100% of the publishing, and you would get paid for the master use, everything. That's because it's simply a one-off, non-union placement on on a movie, film, or an ad. And so again, it's even though you retain all the rights, they don't pay anymore. They just give you the upfront, and then the performing rights, your PRS or BMI, then they would pay the royalties as the song gets aired on whatever medium. So yeah, that's how that works. But it's a double-edged sword. For the thing like the Bond thing, it's a work for hire. You never get paid again, but they do pay very handsomely.
Yeah. And it gets your name out there, doesn't it, as well?
Sure, yeah. There's a lot of positives.
Dear me, I mean, this is so good. Just another thing. Growing up, you said you were a James Bond fan. What kind of James Bond films were your favourite, and which songs are your favourite?
I was just really hooked by that theme. I mean, that was just so mysterious to me. It was like, this is going back to Dr. No and the follow-up, which was Thunderball, was it?
The next one, Russia with Love.
From Russia with Love.
From Russia with Love, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those magical, I mean, just I don't know how he did that, but the brass. Yeah. How did you turn those brass instruments in such like a sharp sword just attacking you? I've never heard anything like it since, and I don't think I will, but I just love that stuff. In the theater, I would go in there and just
yeah.
And I just loved it. I mean, as far as songs go, I really, I mean, in the later years, of course, the Adele song and all those songs, but they always have the same theme, which is a very slower, the Carly Simon tune, all the theme songs, even if I asked you to, they all had that kind of mid-tempo, almost melancholic feel, very richly produced. And by the way, one of my favorites is Russia from
Yeah,
Russia with Love
yeah,
by
yeah.
the singer who wasn't widely well known here in this in Canada or US. I know he was in England, but what was his name?
Matt Monroe.
Matt
Matt
Monroe.
Monroe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or an old bus conductor he used to be. I don't know if you know
Was
that,
he?
Tim.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah, he used to be a London, I think London bus conductor, and made his break.
Yeah,
Yeah. He
that
did
was a
Born
great.
Free, didn't he, with John Barry as well?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Okay.
he did sing that, didn't he, Matt Warren?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm pretty sure the story goes he used to drive the passengers on the bus. And, well, I don't know whether he drove them mad or whether they were entertained, but he used to sing on the buses. Can you
Oh,
believe?
no kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's perfect. I mean, he's got that,
Yeah.
not as thick as Shirley Bassey, but that vibrato that he has was really, really hooky stuff. I mean, it's so magical to me. It really connected with me, but it was not really pop the way I would connect with, the 60s and 70s bands and stuff. This was something so mysterious and ethereal. Yeah. It's just not real. It was a feeling.
Well, you mentioned the brass, and Warren. That's his joy as well. He does play the trumpet, the cornet fantastically well. There it is. In fact, yeah, there it is.
Can't
There you
point.
can see it.
Can't work out how to point behind
Oh,
it.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
just to
John
write
Barry's
that
the master at that, isn't he?
Oh my God,
Brass.
what a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He created that whole sound. You're right, and and I think as well, the thing I always find really interesting, you were saying about the sound of the brass, but that was just a period in this country where we had such great players playing that sort of music, and it's a skill that's quite hard to find now because those guys were just doing it day in, day out, and like we're saying that the John Barry orchestra he put together for the Dr. No sessions of the James Bond theme, those guys could just play that over and over and over again, and it's a style that you can still find the odd player. You can still probably put a band together in London that could sound like that. But in those days, all the players sounded like that because it was just the bread and butter for them in this country then.
Yeah, that's interesting because I had never, I really had never heard anything like that before. And we heard all the the British singles of the time, and there was things approaching that, with Petula Clark and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when that broke, I just went, wow. I mean, how did you turn stuff that my mom and dad liked that I thought I would never like into such a genius thing that pulses through my blood? I really got it. I got it.
Because it's quite different to particularly in the 80s, your sound with, I've listened to your albums. It's so well produced, and obviously it's got that David Foster influence. Yeah. And you've written a song with Chicago, haven't you? These are absolute peak artists at the time. So how did he get into that kind of sound? Because it's so nice. Like we say, Warren and I love that kind of music.
Well, it's funny because I love energetic up-tempo songs. I like ballads too, but I didn't do those as well as I thought I could do the up-tempo stuff. So when we wrote the really, really up-tempo, powerful song, Heart and Pieces, somebody had sent it to a publisher that was looking for the final song on the Chicago 19 record, and they wanted it to be up-tempo. And this landed on her desk, and she just went, oh, this would be perfect, and sent it over to them, and they were in the studio, and they said, oh, we love this. We need an up-tempo, because everybody was writing mid-tempo and kind of rhythmic stuff and down-tempo ballads. The Chicago-esque song. Even Foster, in his years with them, they were all mostly, very piano-oriented or Rhodes-oriented ballads and mid-tempo. So here comes this rocker. And they said, oh, yeah, this is great. This is so different. We got to do it. So once again, it's like Dirty Love. It didn't fit like anything else in the whole sequence, but there's something set to say about doing something that nobody else is doing.
Yeah.
Because you always need that 1 out of 10. We need it. Okay, now we need a rock song. And so I was lucky at placing that song. And then of course I got to go in and sing it with him.
Yes.
My friend Jason, who was the singer at the time, Jason Sheff, we became neighbors here, and our kids kind of grew up together. So we became really, really good friends. And Yeah, I mean, we wrote a song for Chicago 19 too, and they recorded it. And as happens, you heard that it's never final till it's vinyl, and it went all the way right to the end, but it got dropped. So,
Well, your other one it opened the album, didn't it?
yeah, it opened side 1A, yeah, Heart in Pieces.
Yeah.
And then I cut it for my own record with Richard Marx singing those background vocals.
Oh yeah, so he's brilliant, isn't he? And
yeah,
it is all that similar sound that. I mean, Def Leppard maybe was a bit more harder, wasn't it? Slightly in the late 80s.
But I think Mutt Lange was able to bring their hard edge into the whole mainstream, and the way he did it was just brilliant. It was just everything was just so hooky, but it didn't. They weren't sellouts, that wasn't.
Yeah.
They weren't doing anything they shouldn't have been doing, but yeah. And Joe L.A.'s voice is just such a. Weird.
But not far from us, Sheffield, Def Leppard.
Yeah. Well, where are you?
Well, Manchester area, and you're in near Nottingham now, aren't you?
Yeah. You're in Manchester?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were in London. I'm sorry. All right.
Oasis and yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, you're up in the north.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah. You can't tell from the accent. You can in England, but yeah. You mentioned Mutt Lange. He's the opposite of doing a few takes, isn't he? And he take hundreds and hundreds of months.
Yeah.
All this.
Yeah, he's one of those perfectionists that, and his own background vocals is like a symphony.
Yeah.
And when you hear that it's just him doing it, you go, that must have taken a while, like Freddie Mercury did. Must have taken weeks. Yeah, a true genius. I mean, really. And what I liked about Mutt is that nobody knew who he was or what he looked like.
No.
It's pretty cool.
Even when he was married to Shania Twain, still no one knows who he is.
Yeah, very low profile.
Yeah. Warren, you'll be playing Dirty Love, won't you, on your next tour? So I'm really looking forward to it.
It'll be in there. Yeah. It'll be in there, yeah.
Oh, right. That's great.
Well, we're going to have an anniversary coming up in a few years' time, aren't we?
Yes.
9. So yeah, 4 years away. It'll be on every single show that year, I think.
Wow.
Well, Tim, if you're in England and it's on tour, I'm sure Warren would invite you to come on stage.
It'd be an absolute honour. If you are ever in England, let us know.
I will for sure. Absolutely.
Would love to, get you down.
That'd be so fun to hear that. Yeah.
Oh well, honestly, Tim, you meet hundreds of really obsessed Bond fans like ourselves who would flock around you, not in a weird way.
That's great.
But you'd feel like, whoa. It would really surprise you, I think, how appreciated you are.
It already surprises me.
Lots of people will be listening to this episode and they'll be like, wow, Tim Feehan, Bond legend. Wow. So, yeah.
Okay, well, tell that to my wife and kids.
Yeah, well, you should do. Well, I hope you show this to them because it's...
I will. I will when it comes out, for sure.
I mean, we would give anything, wouldn't we, Warren, to be in any part of a Bond film.
Yeah,
the fact that you've had your own song and
you're royalty to us.
Yeah,
to the Bond fans, you are royalty. Yeah,
and music lovers as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it's I get put in my place a lot because I say once in a while I said, don't License to Kill's coming up on CBS Friday night. I'm singing a song in that film, and my wife will say, but that was a long time ago. Can't you sing in a new one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Do you still perform at all? Do you still do a little bit of singing and playing these days, or you just more in the background? I'm
more in the background. I still sing and but I don't perform insofar as it's just campfire stuff again. So I reverted back to what I was doing all those years ago. But no, I don't. I was really never that comfortable being on stage trying to be the front man. My friends in Loverboy, for instance, in Vancouver, and I'd go see Mike Reno up there, and he had a natural gift for just, being there. And I just thought, I feel more comfortable on the other side of the glass.
Yeah.
Telling them what to sing or what they could do better and play this, play that. So I'm a natural producer, I think, but I can't deny that it was fun. And winning a Juno in the late 80s was really feather in my cap, because in Canada that's the Grammy
Yeah.
counterpart.
Yeah.
And that was a real prize for me. Again, it's sitting in my mantle in the kitchen, and my kids are going, what is that? The Transamerica Tower? No, that's a Juno.
Again, very few people have won one of those, haven't they? So, Tim,
Yeah, I count myself very lucky. Yeah.
yeah, you're in esteemed company, and you
Yeah.
really are. But Tim, thank you so much for joining us. We've loved chatting to you.
Yeah.
Like we say, this song and the film hold such a special place in our hearts. I
Well,
only watched it a couple of weeks ago with the other guys in the podcast, and that scene gets a laugh, and it's got everything really. So the fact that you're such a big part of it means a lot to us, even though you didn't know it. So
no, I didn't. I did
yeah,
not know that.
I do like to say, if you're ever in England,
Yeah.
do let us know, because Warren certainly and us would love to meet you. And yeah, you could. I mean, even if you just watch one of Warren's concerts, you'll appreciate how well loved
Oh, I'd love to.
the song is, and the
Yeah,
whole
that
podcast.
would be a thrill. Absolute thrill.
Yeah, yeah.
I will pencil that in. That would be something to do for sure.
It's going to be an exciting year, isn't it, Warren, for you? I think as well next year.
Yeah, but Tim doesn't want to hear about that. Come on.
No.
Come on. We'll talk
I
about
could be
that
there.
time.
We'll advertise that separately. But
Yeah.
no, thanks, Tim. Appreciate you. All those hours away. You've given us a great insight into the music industry, which not many people know about, and we feel like it's a privilege to talk to someone who's been involved in the James Bond film. So, thank you very much. And yeah, we'll be looking forward to hopefully meeting you one day, and we will keep playing the song. It's on all our playlists, and we'll be driving along to it, listening to it in the house and everywhere we can.
I appreciate it, and I'm surprised more than you know, just to know that this still lives on. I mean, I would never have thought that. So thanks so much for what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks also from me, Tim. A real privilege and a pleasure to chat to you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you,
for this, Tom.
Take care.
Okay,
We'll
guys.
be in touch soon.
Take
Thanks
care.
a lot.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, man. Bye-bye.